Hi, welcome to Spotlight, your story, their lifeline, a mother-to-mother podcast. I'm Mimi.
And I'm Dobra, and together we are your hosts. In this mother-to-mother podcast, you will meet women sharing their stories of struggle, triumph, and hope. Our aim is to ensure that no woman ever feels alone.
Through their brave storytelling, these women become lifelines for others on their own journeys. So join us as we dive into the incredible stories that inspire and empower.
Welcome to Spotlight, where your story becomes a lifeline.
This episode is kindly sponsored by ChocoDrizzle by Gila, a local London-based business creating seriously beautiful chocolate-dipped arrangements.
Think chocolate-covered pretzels, Oreos, personalised lollies, and chocolate discs. All custom dipped and decorated exactly how you like.
Yum! She offers everything from gift boxes to wooden boards and acrylic stands in loads of sizes and combinations. Perfect for Sholom Zochors, kiddush, bar and bas mitzvahs, aufrufs, or even just because.
And if you're anywhere in the world wanting to treat family or friends here in the UK, she's got you covered. With Purim coming up, her shlachmanos arrangements are such a special option. And of course, she welcomes corporate orders too.
There are local delivery options or collection from Golders Green, and you can browse her WhatsApp catalogue on 07515 863 646 for an easy, stress-free order. You can also find her Instagram and email address in the show notes below.
And just to end off, Gila told us she's so grateful to Spotlight for keeping her company during those late-night Thursday chocolate dipping sessions.
So it's a win-win. Honestly, from personal experience, it's absolutely delicious. So go on and order from ChocoDrizzle. Just before we start this episode, then just a quick trigger warning. We discuss a variety of subjects such as domestic abuse, anxiety, mental health, losing a parent, so listeners' discretion is advised. Welcome to Spotlight. Motherhood. Motherhood is often spoken about as this beautiful, joyful experience, and it is. It is extremely beautiful and joyful, but if we're going to be really honest, it's also complex, emotional, and at times deeply, deeply overwhelming. And when you're mothering without a mother of your own, it becomes something entirely different. Today's conversation is about that reality, the love, the ache, the strength, and the quiet grief that can sit alongside joy, two emotions at the same time. Today, we are joined by Shiri Elias, the most incredible woman who is generously sharing her story of losing her mum young and what it means to build a life, a marriage, and a family while carrying such a huge loss. So, Shiri, welcome. We are so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. Really looking forward.
It's such an honor. And honestly, like when we received your email, please, listeners, email in if you have a story. We'd love to hear your story. And Shiri, you emailed us with a brief synopsis of your story and your life and what you go through mothering without having a mother. And we were really moved by it. And I shared it with the team and they were like, this is big. This is big. This unfortunately happens.
Yeah, it really touched us. So we're very grateful for you to come and share. Let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm 32, born and bred in Hendon. I always lived at home with my mum. It was always just me and her. Unfortunately, we experienced like very bad domestic violence and harassment from a man that I wouldn't even call my dad because I just feel like he doesn't fit into any of the roles or descriptions that a dad usually would, just because it's all been so negative regarding him. But so that was very hard because he was living in the community just until a few years ago. Yeah, there's quite a lot of layers to my story. I'm also in recovery of anorexia. I'm in a much better place than I was. And over the years, I've invested a lot in my internal toolbox. Because at the beginning, it was literally just about surviving and getting through every minute and then getting through every hour and then every day. But now, like, I'm able to really live despite, the eating disorder, kind of like at the back of my head. And then as we go through the episode, you'll also, I guess, understand how the different mental health side effects that I've had through trauma of growing up, like, anxiety, depression, that is controlled, like with help from professionals and medication as well, but it's still really like a constant struggle and, triggers at times.
Shiri, can I pause you here?
Yes.
I just want to say, I'm listening to you tell it, you're going through your background. And obviously this is not the topic that you came here to talk about, but wow.
It's incredible seeing you here and just all that you've been through. And, you contacted us, you want to share. And I just think we think it's phenomenal.
I think it's an inspiration just hearing about what you've been through and how you suffered. You suffered, to put it mildly. And you've obviously shared with me a little bit more, which we're not going to share on the episode. And I can't even get it out of my head how much you've suffered. I think it's so powerful to see someone who's been through so much and look at you today. That in itself is huge for our listeners to hear that someone who's been through so much. And
it's very encouraging.
Going through anorexia, everything, this was all because of the circumstances, but you've pulled through.
It's very sweet of you to say. Thank you.
I think that when we heard the synopsis of your episode at the beginning, when you emailed us, it was like, wow, that's such an amazing topic. Let's go. But then when you delved into your life story on the phone and everything, then I was like, this is bigger. This is
because
really bigger.
I guess also there was so many layers that contributed to a build-up of so many of the things that also happened to me, like, with the anorexia, with the domestic violence, like that all then turned into me, in the midst of mental health crisis, low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, that all kind of ties together.
Yeah.
So I guess it wouldn't do me or my story justice if I didn't speak about some of the background that kind of like led up to then becoming also a motherless mother.
Yeah. And I think that knowing everything you've been through, and your mother was all you had left. And I think that just also makes the story so much bigger, that she really was your everything. And we're going to delve into it more about your relationship with her and talking about your mother. I'd love to hear more about her. Can you tell us before we start the episode?
Yes.
I'd love to hear. Let's hear this incredible woman who went through so much as well.
Yeah.
Who literally went through so much.
So her name was Diana.
Ooh,
and everyone
like
would always say,
Diana?
oh, it's like Princess Diana.
As beautiful.
So we called our daughter Dana because we thought it was very fitting, and a really nice namesake as well. She was just the most lovely lady that just went through so much, and you'd look at her and you wouldn't suspect a thing unless you knew, her and her story. She just had a smile that really did radiate, to everyone. She was just such a good friend and such a good mother. And no matter what she went through, I could never say that she didn't try enough. Under so many difficult, pressuring circumstances, she really single-handedly, brought me up with everything that was going on, with the domestic violence, with the harassment. She continuously she wouldn't say Lashon Hara, she would just very much try to just get on with, whatever she needed to. And obviously she confided in people that she needed help from, but she was like never the type to like write to the JC or the Jewish News and be like, my ex hasn't given me a get for X amount of years and all of that. Like she really did just radiate goodness. And the thing with grief is that obviously a big part of it is missing the person, but you miss what they're missing out on as well. So my mum would be missing out on being a mother-in-law to the most amazing son-in-law. Shout out to Daniel. And to just being a grandmother and enjoying all of the lovely things that grandparents get to do, like taking their grandchildren to the park or, taking their grandchild for an ice cream or picking them up from nursery or just spending Shabbats and the Chagim together. I really do feel like a deep sense of pain that it's not only for me of what I'm missing out on, but it's what she's missing out on, especially after she had such a difficult life. Like I feel like this is her time to basically have some goodness thrown at her. So it's hard when people say, oh, like they're in a better place or they're not suffering anymore or, things like that, because
you can't see it.
I just can't see it from that angle. And you just want them to be here now and enjoy what the now has to offer.
Yeah, wow, that's really beautiful. And she sounds like a phenomenal person. I think it's also experiencing it together. It's that feeling of you get a pleasure watching them have pleasure.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's
or even like small things like with the nursery, like emergency contact. So most people would probably write their parents
right.
or so thank God I have a wonderful sister-in-law, and she's like a sister to me, and a very good friend that's like family to me.
That's beautiful.
But it's just not the same.
It's not the same. Well, they say family is friends of the family you choose for yourself.
Yes, definitely. And then they really do turn into family.
Yeah.
How old were you when she was diagnosed?
So the first time around, my mum had breast cancer and she had to have a mastectomy, and she was clear for a very, very long time. But the thing is with the NHS, I think the rule is still the same, that once you're clear for a certain amount of years, they don't offer you like recurrent checkups. So the checkups basically get less the longer you're in recovery, the longer you're in the clear for. So she had breast cancer, she had a mastectomy, and then
how old were you at that?
So at that time it was like GCSE year, so
you were
like
young.
14 or 15.
And obviously you knew everything that she was going through.
But I'm saying thank God that time around, like there was the chemo, there was a radio that really did help, like put her in good stead, and they really were able to like get it under control and get it like out of her system, thank God.
That must have been really challenging in your teenage years to have to, especially with everything, now that we know everything that was going on, well, sort of know, then that must have been really challenging. Such early years.
Extra challenging.
It was, and I think also we're
you're finding yourself and you're really just
I think we're very
life.
blessed nowadays to have so much more pastoral support in schools, to have much more awareness. I have to say I felt like I was just a fish in a bowl in school, and that like everyone else was just kind of like swimming around me, but I was just very much
like the catfish.
Like basically just going through very different things that a typical 14 or 15-year-old would go through. Thank God it wasn't.
I was about to say, like, thank goodness things have changed.
Because and thank God
something needed
my
to
peers
change.
weren't going through what I was going through.
Of course.
But then in a way it was just very, very isolating as well.
Assuming you didn't want to take people to your home as well.
Friends.
Yeah, no, just because also it was more me probably going from like place to place, kind of like a route of, going to friends while my mum had, the therapy, or sometimes like a Shabbos going away so that my mum could, just have some rest and not feel bad that, I'm at home and bored or whatever. And that was through her first diagnosis. And then the audience will get to hear soon, but throughout my mum's second round of being diagnosed with cancer.
So how long later was that?
So that was, so my mum passed away in 2017. So it was about 7 or 8 years later. Yeah, that's what I'd say. From the diagnosis, it was such a quick illness. It was
decline.
It was such a quick decline. The summer of 2017, I just felt that.
Was your mother married at that point?
No, she wasn't married, but we continually had the harassment outside of the home.
So you had that going on at the same time as well?
Yeah,
that is a lot for a teenage girl.
Yeah.
Wow. Gosh.
In the community, meaning?
Yeah, within the Jewish community, within Hendon.
I'd love to know about your relationship. Obviously, for years you lived together, just you and your mum, and you've been through so much together. You had this shared trauma that you've both been through.
Definitely.
And I'd love to know about your relationship with your mum.
So we really were two peas in a pod, and that's what everyone would say. If they saw my mum, they kind of saw me. But
do you look alike?
I think so. I definitely think so. Looking at pictures of when my mum was younger and like kind of her student days, And there's definitely resemblances. And there's definitely a resemblance now with my Dana that people say, oh my goodness, she just looks so much like your mum, which actually gives me a lot of comfort. And some people say, I'm really sorry. I hope it didn't upset you that I said that. But no, she really does.
Has that ever upset you when someone has said that to you?
No, it's actually made me feel really,
It's the opposite.
it's the opposite. It's made me feel really happy, because that's just another way of bringing my mum in, into our life. And sometimes people say, I'm really sorry if it upset you and I didn't know if I should say it or not. And I'm like, no, thank you. Like, it's really nice.
That is
to hear.
comforting.
Yeah, definitely.
So you were 2 peas in a pod.
2 peas in a pod. But I have to say, she was just such a selfless mother, because so many times I could have stayed at home with her, or I didn't have to go to SEM, and I told her, like, listen, like, I'm so happy just to stay with you. Like, I really don't have to go. And she was like, I want you to go. And she knew that it would be hard for her, and it was, but she put all of that aside, and she still wanted to do what was best for me, which I think is a big attribute for a mother to have, like, kind of putting all your fears and your anxieties aside,
For your
because
child.
it's for the better good of your child.
Wow.
So I think that stays with me quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
She sounds like a very righteous, incredible woman.
She was very dignified, I have to say. She had a lot of integrity, which I think is harder, the way the world moves and, the way that all these different things are evolving. She always really remained just full of integrity and just full of goodness, really.
Did you feel a responsibility because you were the only one at
I
home?
definitely did. And there probably was some codependency for sure.
Yeah.
With us leaning on each other.
For both ways, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, both
Yeah.
ways. But like, I remember when I was in SEM, like, I'd always make sure that, like, I'd know that, like, she wasn't alone for Friday night dinner, and then, like, her friends would invite her, or she wouldn't want to kind of, like, hassle anyone, so she wouldn't, like, have asked. But that was, like, my way of just knowing that she also
She's not alone.
wasn't alone. Yeah.
I hear that. Wow.
So take us back to when your mother became ill the second time.
Yeah.
Were you in SEM at that time?
No. So this was after SEM. I was 23. It was the July of 2017.
What were you doing at that time?
I was working in a school.
Okay.
And it was a very, very difficult time, because the first symptom that I realised was that my mum basically started getting, like, a hoarse voice out of nowhere and started coughing quite a bit. She kind of shrugged it off and, like, for a week or two, and thought, like, oh, just maybe a cold or, flu. I then saw after about 2 weeks that it didn't go. So I was like, Mum, like, let's just go to the GP. Let's just, have some tests, just make sure that everything's okay. You could get antibiotics.
Sorry to interrupt you, but can I ask how old your mum was?
So
at that time?
She was 60 when she passed away.
Okay.
So probably just before 60.
So she had you a little bit later on in life.
Yeah, she was 60 when she passed away, and I'm now 32. So late 30s.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
When she had you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I guess, listen, nowadays people have kids at 45.
Are you joking?
40.
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah. But she wasn't like a young 20-year-old when she had you. And
but she was very young.
But she was very young to pass away. 100%,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very young.
Now, thank God, nowadays, like, people live
60
till
is
95.
the new 20.
Yeah, literally.
Literally.
People live till 95 now. So we went to the GP, and they were adamant that she had asthma. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't really get asthma when you're 60. Like, I'm really not sure about this.
She was wheezy?
Yeah.
So that's why they thought...
She was wheezy to breathe, so they thought potentially it could be asthma. They gave her an inhaler.
She felt well in herself? Or she literally
just felt a
had
bit
these...
off.
Right.
Like, just obviously because she wasn't breathing the way that she normally would, out of breath, things like that. So the doctor gave the asthma inhaler, and it was just making things worse. Her lips would go blue. She'd take the pumps. It just wasn't doing anything at all. Took her back. Not once did they look at her medical history of the breast cancer and think, oh, maybe, it could have been a factor, or maybe she should go for screening, for cancer, just because of what she'd been through.
Did it go across did you think about that at all?
No. But in hindsight, I definitely did. Like, once it progressed.
Did you have that conversation with her? Mum, maybe
No, I didn't, not at that time. But I had to have a lot of hard conversations with her about her care, once she was diagnosed. It did seem to kind of like pick up a bit, like because she was just given all this medication and it obviously masked what was going on, because maybe they thought it was a chest infection, or they thought, maybe she just had like a bit of a decline with her breathing and that she needed to be monitored. So it never came about anything to do with where the cancer actually was spreading to for the second time. Come the summer, we went on holiday together. We went to New York so I could see some friends from SEM, which was really, really, really lovely. She was all fine. We got home and the wheezing continued and it just all got worse. So second day Rosh Hashanah, I said to her, like, we're going to A&E, like there's something definitely really, really wrong. And with me kind of telling her that I was going to be with her the whole time and that it was going to be fine. She never came home really from then until 7 weeks later when she passed away. About 2 days into her admission on Rosh Hashanah, they did scans, they did tests, and they basically said that the cancer was back and that it spread to her lungs. She was never a smoker, she was never a drinker, so all of the other theories kind of went out of the window as to why she was wheezing and why she was coughing and why she had the hoarse voice.
The first time she had cancer, she had different symptoms, I'm assuming.
Yeah, she had a lump in her breast for the first time.
So it was the same cancer that spread, or it's just another?
So I don't know exactly. It was either the same cancer that came back and spread, or it developed.
So meaning she would have missed a lump, or? So I know that now. I know that symptoms of lung cancer must be the wheezing, the coughing, things like that.
Take us back to that time that you were in the room and the doctors told you that it's.
So I think that's
cancer's back.
The hardest thing, because ultimately it's a stranger giving you a diagnosis. And I think my mum just couldn't grasp what they were saying. And it was the most painful thing for me to be like, Mum, do you understand what the doctor's saying?
Oh my God.
That is basically incurable. They tried with some chemotherapy tablets, but it was just too far gone. And that's why it was literally just such a short illness from the time we were in hospital.
Do you remember that time?
Yes, I remember it very well. I remember the consultant's name. I used to get nightmares, and I remember actually a year or so later, I saw him on the side street somewhere in town, and I just completely froze. I was like, oh my God, that was the doctor that
helped.
That helped, but also gave us the most horrible diagnosis.
How did you get through those 7 weeks?
I just put my mum first.
It's such an interesting space. You were the caregiver.
Yeah.
At the same time, you were the mature one in the room. You were saying, how you had to tell her this news and be very frank with her and say, Mum, do you understand what's going on here, what they're saying?
Because I guess I also knew that it would give her more comfort with me talking to her about it than a stranger.
But you're the child.
Yeah. But
obviously,
the roles reversed.
The roles reversed.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting space.
But if I think of all of the times that my mum was the parent to me, I think I just kind of went fight or flight. And really everyone gets a choice in life with how they deal with things. And you can either not do something or do something. Everyone has that choice. And it's not an easy choice. But I just can't live with the motto of I just can't do it. I just can't do it. There are some things in life that you have to do for the greater good of a cause or for someone else, and there was no I can't do it. I had to just do it.
Where did you find that strength from?
I have no idea. We have good friends, a good support system. It was really just trying to make every day count with her and just supporting her and basically moving into the hospital.
What did she say to you after you said, Mum, do you understand what's happening here?
It was just very painful. And I just remember her face kind of scrunching up and her crying and saying this can't be. And it was like a child basically just really upset and scared, very, very scared.
What's your response? How do you
comfort her?
Yeah, how did you comfort her at that time?
I think I just kept saying like, I'm here, and like it is going to be okay, even though I knew it wasn't going to be okay. But I think sometimes in life, like someone just needs to hear that it's going to be okay somehow.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing was that she was cognitive the whole time. So she understood everything, and she was like, why are they giving me more medications than what I need? Have they said if I'm going to be going into hospice or not? She didn't even get to end of life care because it was just so fast.
And you were going through your own stuff at that time as well.
Yeah.
How did you balance the two?
I think my life just merged into my mum's life. And everything else was just secondary.
You went into hospital every single day, or you stayed by her side?
I was there. Yeah, I mean, also my mum was in ICU for most of the time until really the end, where she had a private room. But I was just with her 24/7. Yeah,
and in the ICU, she was awake. She was conscious.
Yeah.
So really, till the very end, she was conscious, and you were having conversation with her.
And then she moved into like a ward maybe like 2 weeks before she passed away. Just because her breathing and everything was declining so much and going up and down, that she really needed that care.
Really, you had conversation with her literally
till the night before. I said that I love you. I'll see you in the morning. And 2 weeks beforehand, I thought, listen, she didn't want to see any of her friends, and I thought, listen, like the end is coming, and it was very painful for me because I knew she would realize that once her good friends start coming kind of like in shifts, like what was actually going on, and that they were wanting to say goodbye. But I just couldn't let her miss not seeing her really good friends. So I called kind of like 1 or 2 every day, and I said like, listen, please come. And then it was having,
Was she happy that you did that?
Yeah, no, she was.
Right. Because
once they came.
Right.
But she just didn't want them to see her in the state that, she was in. And then it was her friends getting upset, and, me kind of just being like, okay, I need to look after myself as well. But like the friends saying, no, like maybe this isn't going to be the end. Like maybe there'll be a miracle, and we're all davening and, blah, blah, blah. But it was the most amazing thing that like she literally got to see all of her good friends. I remember I went home late at night, the night before she passed away. I wanted to bring her pictures to look through. So I was on my way to the hospital on the Thursday morning. And then I just got a call, and I thought, oh, like it could just be the doctor kind of like filling me in on something, because they would call me sometimes to say if things declined, but also if like my mum maybe needed something, like a nurse would call me, just because I guess it was hard for her to speak also like on the phone. And once I heard what they had to say, they said, your mum's taken a bit of a turn, so we'd like you to just like make your way to the hospital as soon as possible. So in my mind, it was, she's either taken a turn or they're protecting me and they're not going to tell me on the phone that she's already passed away. And unfortunately, it was the second scenario that I made my way to the Royal Free, and I just felt a huge, overwhelming kind of sea of sadness over me. I remember I was just like running to get into a lift. I burst out crying. There were so many people in the lift, and I just said, I need to get to the 10th floor. I need to get to the 10th floor. And I saw that her door was shut, which in my head straight away was a really difficult thing to see, because she always wanted to open, because she was so cognitive. She wanted to be involved in everything and involved in her care. And she wanted, she didn't want to just be shut away from everything. And then a nurse kind of took me to the side before I got into the room, and told me that she passed away that morning, about an hour before I came. So I don't know if it's policy, but they didn't tell me obviously on the phone. They told me once I got there. And then a lot of it was a blur because it was winter Shabbos. Shabbos came in really early at like 3:00. And
so this was on the Friday.
So it happened on the Thursday, but it was me trying to get all the preparations ready for the next day, so that she'd be able to be buried before Shabbos.
You single-handedly?
No, like with good friends, and we had someone being like a shomer until the burial people were able to pick her up and take her to Edgerbury. But yeah, like a lot of logistics, a lot of phone calls and texts, and yeah, it was just a very big huge
It's just correct.
adjustment. I had some cousins that thank God I was able to stay at and that I sat shiva at. But it was just like, just so difficult.
Wow.
Those moments that you found out that your mother passed away, how did you get through those moments?
I just remember looking outside the window and I'm seeing like taxis and I'm seeing like kids running around and people going in and out of the shops. And I'm thinking like, how is the world still functioning? Because my world has literally just stopped. And a big numbing feeling, a very upsetting feeling, you know, of seeing her being taken out of the hospital room. And the nurse just said also, even the way she left the world, like they said they were giving her breakfast, they were giving her some yogurt or something, and then she just like literally passed. Like thank God she wasn't in pain, but it was a very kind of like Adel way of passing away. Like I can't even explain it, but they just said like she was just always asking them how they are, and you know they were helping her have breakfast, and then literally the next, like she just basically slipped away. And it was very hard. The day before I had to go, you know, I went with a rabbi and he sang like Avinu Malkeinu. Again, I didn't want my mum to know like explicitly what he was doing, but he was like a Chabad rabbi and he was very full of like nigunim, and he was just singing it like, do you want to sing with me like Avinu Malkeinu? And just having to do, you know, vidoy, you know, with her, singing Hamalach HaGoel, singing Shema. And my mum is like me, she loved music. But as I said, it would have been easier maybe in a way if she wasn't as cognitive, because it just made things even harder for her and for me that she was so on it, like until the last minute, basically.
Are you grateful in a certain way that you weren't there when she actually passed? Or are you upset that I wanted to be there, kind of?
I don't know. I've never really focused on that question. I'm not sure. But what I do know is that I did everything I can and that I don't have any regrets. Right. And to not have any regrets in life, I think, is a really big bracha.
Yeah.
Like to know that I did everything.
You did everything you possibly could.
Yeah, like there wasn't anything that I didn't do.
Did you have a support system around you for those difficult days?
I had good friends, but it was very patchy, kind of like the conversations, just because I just wanted to, you know, be with my mum.
I'm presuming you were sitting shiva by yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Part of it was some extended family, but it was basically just ultimately it was just me for most of the nights. Yeah.
That could be, I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, but that could be quite a pressure.
Yes, it was during the day, just so many people coming and speaking. And I remember even once or twice, I just like needed a break, and there were break times. And then someone came and they're like, well, I already came another day and she wasn't like having visitors. And then I think my cousin was just like, listen, I'm sorry she's doing this all alone. But like, if she needs another break, like I can't call her from upstairs to come down, you know, because you're upset that she's not coming down when everything's on her. Like most people have a family to lean on, that they can take turns in talking or take turns in, you know, going out if they need for a breather. And I remember also I had to ask a shaila, like I said, like I literally can't be stuck in a house for a week. And they said if I go very early in the morning, I just went disguised, literally kind of like with sunglasses, and I just like needed to get out. So I just literally just went for a really quick power walk at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Because that was the only way that would kind of help me get through it.
Yeah, it's very intense by yourself like that.
Yeah.
Did you have anyone with you holding your hand through this time?
So thank God I did. I had my good friends, had a very, very good friend come from Israel, with a husband, to be there with me, and a very good friend that is basically like family to me. Some very, very, very good friends, were there with me the whole time, but just incredibly, incredibly difficult. And the aftermath also, like I've just felt like I didn't want to see people in the street. Like I'd always put on my headphones because I'd think logically that if someone saw you with headphones, they're not going to be like, oh, sorry, like, can I just speak to you for a second? Like, I kind of felt like they were my invisibility cloak.
Kind of like a barrier between you and the world.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Talking of headphones, you mentioned that music is, and I know this already from before, that music is a very big part of your life.
Yes.
Was that very difficult for you the first year?
Definitely, yes, and it was. And I don't remember exactly because it was like 7 years ago, but there were some sort of leniencies that I was able to, whether it was just a cappella or I can't, because also it was the time of my life where, fortunately, I had friends getting married, but unfortunately, I was just like, I really just don't know if I want to go. And then, I'd have to do a job at the wedding. And it was just a very kind of isolating time. And the rabbi was just like, you need to go out for meals. Obviously, I'm living by myself now.
Such a different circumstance.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I mean, everyone has their own circumstances when somebody passes away in their family, and especially a parent, then everyone has their own.
Some people entertain, some people don't go out.
But for you were on your own.
Yeah, but I have to say, like, the Noah Girls charity were like absolutely amazing, and they helped me with so many things to throughout my life, and I'm always forever grateful for them, and I always try now to fundraise for them when I can and speak at their their fundraising dinners, and thank God I've helped raise a lot of money for them.
Was no other charity that helped you through at that time?
So it was really when the anorexia was peaking.
Right.
When I was about...
Before your mother passed away?
Yes, yeah. When I was about 18.
Okay.
So she hadn't had her second diagnosis yet?
No, not when I joined, no.
We'll be right back to this episode. Hi, I'm Danielle, a founder of Mother to Mother, an organization that supports and empowers women on their motherhood journey. We offer a wide range of services to make sure that every mother can thrive. From emotional support services to mother and baby groups, practical help, health information, a community kitchen, and much more. Mother to Mother builds communities of women to support each other. By tuning into our podcast, you have joined the Mother to Mother family today. Welcome and enjoy the episode.
I mean, everyone has their own circumstances when somebody passes away in their family, and especially a parent, then everyone has their own.
Some people entertain, some people don't go out.
But for you were on your own.
Yeah, but I have to say, like, the Noah Girls charity were like absolutely amazing, and they helped me with so many things to throughout my life, and I'm always forever grateful for them, and I always try now to fundraise for them when I can and speak at their their fundraising dinners, and thank God I've helped raise a lot of money for them.
Was no other charity that helped you through at that time?
So it was really when the anorexia was peaking.
Right.
When I was about...
Before your mother passed away?
Yes, yeah. When I was about 18.
Okay.
So she hadn't had her second diagnosis yet?
No, not when I joined, no.
For our listeners around the world that haven't heard of Noah, Noah is a charity based in Northwest London, and they help hundreds and hundreds of girls from the community across North and Northwest London face that, the girls that are going through all different challenges, and whatever the challenge is, they help lighten the load in a way that can empower girls with skills and confidence to help themselves. They have therapists and key workers, and they do lots of different activities and therapy sessions with them to help them with their challenges, to help them get through and just be successful in life.
How did you hear about Noah?
So, as I said, just kind of going back, I started suffering from an eating disorder in SEM. It wasn't very clear at that time. I was bigger, so I started losing weight, and people started with the compliments like, oh, you look amazing, you look great. So, especially if it was someone that was really skinny that started losing weight, you'd be like, sorry, but I think you're like going a bit too far. But because I was larger, it was like, oh, you look amazing. And, it was my own meal times. You didn't have policemen, so you could just take what you want, don't take what you don't want, don't turn up to lunch if you don't want to. And then it kind of began a fear of food, a fear of challah, a fear of oil, blobbing, like using a kitchen roll to absorb all the oil from the Israeli chicken and potatoes or whatever they used to give us in SEM. And I also think there was the deeper meaning of the cry for help as well at that time.
Your mother was aware of this?
So I think she became more aware when I came home for Pesach. But again, I was quite a bit larger, so she was like, oh, like it's like you look good, like you look better. But then like there was the kind of warning signs the summer that I came back from SEM, and the weight kind of kept dropping off, and the behaviors and everything started getting much more intense. And that's kind of like how it started. My friend was doing work experience in Noah, and someone knew someone that worked there, and then they told me, I really think you need to go, like, I need to give you Noah's number. My mum called them. The next day they literally like flew me into a kind of like admissions meeting to get on their list like as soon as possible. And thank God there was no waiting list. Noah was also much smaller at the time. Now they have a huge waiting list.
Did you realize that you had a problem going on?
Not then, no. And I refused to
Right.
see that I had a problem.
So were you okay joining Noah?
I think I also didn't know what it was at the time until I joined it.
Okay.
So my
So
mum
you just thought probably it's like a club or something.
yeah, like they
Girls
said, like
chill.
you'll have a key worker and like you'll chill, like maybe you'll paint pottery the first time to meet her.
Okay.
They'll liaise with the GP a bit, with the dietitian, and just an extra pair of hands. And also it was amazing for my mum because my mum had a key worker just for her to give her support, which was
Did your mum realize at the time the severity?
not at that time, but it started sliding.
Okay. It was a downward spiral.
Yeah, very, very quick downward spiral. And throughout all of that, Noah was there for us.
When were you aware that I have anorexia?
I mean, it probably took till I was admitted to hospital.
How long
That I
later
actually
was that?
saw. So we were under the NHS for quite a while. The first thing they wanted to do was to make sure that I didn't lose any more weight. But I had like refeeding syndrome, which means that because you've lost so much weight, you have to put on a hell of a lot of weight to stop losing the weight, if that makes sense. So I kept losing weight, but the difference in what I was eating at the time and what I needed to eat to stop the weight loss before I even went into weight gain was like a struggle. I had to have a whole meal plan, but they just wanted to keep me alive and stable. And then once they stopped the losing of the weight, that was then when the weight gain kind of program kicked in, which was really, really difficult.
So what did Noah do for you?
So they were with me there every step of the way. They came to all of the medical appointments. They supported my mum. They came to therapy sessions that I had in hospital. I didn't really want to see friends. I didn't want to socially eat. I didn't want to eat in front of friends. And so many things revolve around meal times. Like thinking in my head, oh, if I have breakfast and then I meet my friend at 11, but then I have to be home for morning snack and lunch, then like there's not going to be much time. And I didn't want to have to eat in front of anyone. So it really restricted me socially as well.
Was there ever a time that you resisted the help?
No, I think it was like a haven for me. Like the same thing was with school, that school was a haven for me because so many things were difficult at home. Noah really was a haven for me because I didn't feel judged. I felt like I could just take my invisibility cloak out, kind of leave it at the cloakroom there.
And ultimately they helped you going forward when your mother was diagnosed.
That was already a few years later.
Right. So they were with you all through the way.
Yeah, it's just, and also just a side note, like I think eating disorders is so prevalent, but it's just so difficult in the Jewish community as society is evolving with weight loss jabs and Manjaro and all these different things, and people.
Just a very unhealthy mindset.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I don't
Unhealthy
think the weight loss
mindset.
jabs, I might be wrong, but I don't think the weight loss jabs were made for a lot of the people that are having it now. Like it was made for like people that had diabetes, that were severely overweight, severely obese. And now you literally feel like because you can get it privately, like I know loads of people that are on it and just can just take it.
So would you say that this is a little bit of a trigger?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Especially when I see people that like aren't even really overweight and you're like, why are you actually taking it? And Botox going on in the community, like so many things that weren't pressures.
Yeah.
So when Noah was taking you to GP appointments and things like that, how was that? Like, what was your...
So I didn't want to, I could kind of handle with stop losing the weight, but I didn't want to put on the weight. Like there were days where I literally would just before I was hospitalized, like just like literally have an apple and a Diet Coke the whole day because I just was so scared of putting on weight. And in hospital, like really like they teach you how to do social eating, like you sit together. And I'm not ashamed to say that I went through really, really difficult times. And part of the anorexia journey could be tendencies of like wanting to hide food. But like, obviously we couldn't do that in hospital because they were like watching our every move. But you just try to hide it, or you try to take less or put some in the bin because of it feels like a real fear. And with a lot of therapy, with a lot of letting myself be helped, which took a very, very long time, but I do remember it kind of clicking one day when I was in hospital, like, I just don't want to be here anymore.
You just felt like you wanted to do this, just that you got this.
Or I just felt like I was just surrendering, like it was just too hard to do it by myself. And I knew that the only way of getting better was listening to the doctors, because I didn't want to be like, you know, a 60-year-old in the hospital that has just been coming in and out her whole life.
How long were you recovered when your mother got her second diagnosis?
So I was in hospital for a year, and I wouldn't say recovered, but I was in recovery. I'd say about 2 years. So she got to see me in a good place, thank God. She really, really did.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you were with Noah all the way through that time?
Yeah, from when I became unwell until I think 2 years after my mum passed away.
Wow. So lucky to have such a resource in the community.
Yeah, thank God.
Really unbelievable. Thank you, Noah.
Yeah, big thank you.
So you were telling us that after your mum passed away, then it was an interesting space because your friends were getting married and moving on. And how was that for you? When did you want to actually embrace the next stage? Did you want to?
So I wasn't really thinking of dating or anything. I still had struggles with my mental health, and had a few relapses after my mum passed away. And I was in a mental health unit twice. For depression and anxiety and like suicidal ideation, which was really, really tough.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
It's just...
But I was very much, I think, true to myself in a way that obviously I'm not going to be dating at this time because I'm just in such a bad place. Right. So I had to kind of continue working with therapists, with Noah.
And you were living alone, or did you move into?
Yeah, so I moved into, it was like a granny flat attached to a very, very, very close family. To me, that's like family, basically.
I mean, just
straight after my mum passed away, it was a miracle that they built this extension and was looking for a tenant, and then I needed somewhere to stay.
They built it for you.
Ultimately. Yeah, I mean, it could be.
Yeah. Hashem
I stayed there for 2.5 years. So
wow. It's just that week after you get up from Shiva.
Yeah.
And then starting life.
Yeah.
And your mum is not there.
Yeah.
How was that?
And also settling into a new place that I've never lived by myself before, apart from Sem, but it was with other people.
Is that when the depression...
Yeah, and I think also people just wanting to like invite me, and I just felt I felt very grateful that they were inviting me, but I also stuck out like a sore thumb, like seeing them with their like mums and dads and siblings and stuff, and then it was like just me, and I just felt so uncomfortable. So sometimes I'd just like prefer to just be by myself, even though friends would like insist that I'd come, unless it was a family I was very, very close to. Like I was quite anti kind of like going out. I just found it really, really difficult.
So did you stay home?
Yeah, I definitely did stay home sometimes. And I also had my own relationship with Judaism where, you know, I wasn't keeping Shabbos or kosher at one point because I just felt if I was by myself on a Friday night, if I don't want to go to someone's house, I'm not going to sit in the pitch black with 2 Shabbos candles. But
there's so much to navigate.
Yeah. And it's your own identity
hard.
as well. Now you've kind of lost the identity of being with, you know,
family,
with your parent.
Yeah, no family, no, just everything going on.
And I felt like I really needed those good few years.
There's no grandparents, right?
No. Which was very hard. My grandparents passed away before my mum passed away, which is obviously very sad in itself.
Yeah.
You're incredible.
No, really not. And then I started learning a bit more about Judaism, and I felt like I was.
What was your relationship with Hashem before your mum passed away?
So I think in Sem I definitely filmed out a lot.
Okay.
And it was definitely a distraction from what was going on with life, and a lot of OCD kind of factors like saying Shacharis and Mincha at a certain time, being quite religious on like timing and the practices.
It wasn't coming from a healthy place.
No, not at all. And then it went to like nothing, and then it went to me.
That was after your mum passed away.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, for it going to not being kosher, not being Shomei Shabbos, and then a few years later, for me being in a place where I just kind of started from scratch, and I started learning with a Rebbetzin. I started going to some Aish events, some JLE events, and then funnily enough, I met my husband in Soyo. I went to an event and the Rebbetzin said, do not go with any friends. She said, if you'll go with any friends, then you won't speak to anyone new, which was true. So I was brave. I didn't go with anyone that I knew.
But it was like a whole dating?
So my husband's from Sydney, and it was a rabbi, Rabbi Benji Levy, that came to speak in Soyo for the Aish Young Professionals. So then I went, and then obviously my husband went because he knew this rabbi. And we didn't speak like the whole evening. My husband was at the other end of the table. He wasn't my husband at the time. And then a few of us just stayed till the end. And then we started talking, and similar Sephardi family background, and it all kind of just went from there. Exchanged Facebook names, didn't exchange numbers. I was very cautious. And then I think we got talking that evening after, once I got home. And then
he asked you on a date.
Yeah, the rest is history.
The rest is history.
He said, if you ever want to waste if you ever want to waste some time on me, then I'd be really happy to take you out for a coffee.
Oh no, isn't that romantic?
So then I thought, you know what? Why not?
Did you feel like maybe I can get married now? Like I'm in a much better place.
I didn't think of the marriage at the time. I thought like maybe I could have a boyfriend.
Right.
Like that was the kind of like pedestal.
Were you on the same religious level at that time?
No, but he was very patient. And
you were attending a share, so obviously you were
sure.
on a journey at that point.
I was wanting to do much more, and I knew I had it in me because I have done it before. It wasn't from scratch,
and it was circumstances. That made
for
you
sure.
stop.
And I think it was a temporary.
At what point did you tell him what you've been through?
Yeah, so that was very hard. That was very, very hard. It was like, how do I start? If I start, I'm not going to stop. So,
well, he must have known that you were on your own, and
so
he
knew
story.
I was living by myself.
Yeah,
and then obviously once he speaks to his parents, what's the mum's name? What's the dad's name?
Right.
Where, like, I don't know, where does she live? Where does the family house? Whatever. So I think I like got to the first date with being a bit like not really speaking about like parent situation,
just
or
avoiding
anything.
The topic.
Yeah. And I think by the second or third, I was like, okay, listen, I have to tell you something. And obviously it wasn't a something. It was like, I need to tell you a lot of things slowly. But no, thank God he respected me, and he respected, where I came from. And as we went out more, he knew that I was very much game to meeting him where he was, with his religious.
And I'm going to say something really corny here. And he's so lucky to have you.
I always say we're lucky to have each other, because sometimes people say to me, he was like your knight in shining armor, he rescued you, like all of this is because of your husband, some people say. And my husband actually says, actually it's because of like all the work that she's done, like she met me after she did all the hard work. But I always say like couples are very much lucky to have each other.
He's part of your recovery journey.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And he still is, sometimes when I find things, difficult or whatever, he checks in every so often, or communication is obviously key.
Sounds like a huge support.
Yeah,
which
thank
is
God.
phenomenal.
So let's fast forward what we originally intended our podcast, our episode to be, but there is just so much, so many layers, as you say. Motherhood.
Yes.
So you married Daniel, your knight in shining armor.
Yes.
Really and truly.
And then 3 years later, we had Dana Emina. And she is now 3 in March. And I'm expecting, please God, at the end of February.
Oh, Bashar Tova.
So, she's very excited.
Dana Emina. Is there a story behind the name? Obviously, Dana is Diana.
Yes, so as I said,
Emina.
And Emina, we just really like the name. And if I wouldn't have used Dana, if what happened to my mum didn't happen, then I probably would have called her Emina.
Really? Instead. Do you have something associated with the word Emina? Because when I think of Emina, I think of Hashem.
I think and just having faith. But I think it's just a gorgeous name, really.
It is beautiful. I love
original
names with
as well.
Yeah, exactly. Do you call her Emina at
all?
No.
I sometimes she doesn't listen to me. I'm like, Dana Emina.
Why? We all do that. I mean, I do that. It's
Yeah,
always the double
teachers do
barrel
that.
when,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So funnily enough, then my kids, except for one, then they all have double barrel names, and they're all names that have a meaning that like I wanted because of something, whatever. I've got this like I have like a little background on each name, and I love using, they're not known as their second names, but I love using their second names.
That's sweet. Mimi uses it from a good place.
So it's interesting because a lot of people do use it from like a place of like
authority.
Darn, I'm gonna get here right now. Yes. Pick up your toys. But like it's more like, for me, it's more like an affectionate thing. Because
no, for sure. Just want to say how much I love you.
It just doesn't go. But okay, so motherhood. How... Let's take it back to
the birth of Dana.
Or even pregnancy. Pregnancy is massive. And telling one of the first things that people do usually is call parents.
Yeah, definitely. Call the parents or have your mum with you in the labour room.
Yeah. Well, no. Let's talk about call parents as in first thing. Finding that you're pregnant. Finding that you're pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, firstly, how was that for you?
Yeah.
After all you've been through and now you're married and you're having a baby.
So I was told for a long time that.
Did you ever pinch yourself?
Because my period stopped after the anorexia, I was told for a long time that I basically wouldn't be able to have children until the periods come back, and they might not. There was no kind of like guarantee. And then thank God, I just like remember a bit PSA, but I remember when my period did come back, I was just like the happiest.
Was that before you were dating Daniel?
Yes.
So you knew going into
it was about 2 or 3 years into 2 or 2.5 years into recovery that my periods did come back, because I didn't have anything for a very long time.
And how long later did you meet Daniel?
Maybe like the following year.
Okay. Yeah. So you were healthy and
like again, I feel like you're never at the end of the road of recovery with an eating disorder, especially like with just how severe mine was, but definitely in a much, much, much better place.
So take us back to taking a pregnancy test, finding out that you're pregnant. How was that for you? Because that's a very big moment for most women, calling.
Yeah. Like we were married for 3 years, so like already we knew it was like the time, like we like wanted it.
You had conversations about this.
Yes, yeah, definitely. But obviously it's very hard not being able to call my mum, and I still sometimes look at my phone and I wish that like there was like a time travel type machine that you could save voicemails and save, I think I've got 1 or 2 emails from when I was in SEM, and it does give me kind of like chizuk looking at them every so often.
Do you have voice notes?
No, so my mum wasn't amazing at WhatsApp, bless her. So I don't have that. I still, to this day, can't delete my mum's phone number. So like it just still says mummy in my phone. But just not being able to tell her, I don't know, not being able to take her to a midwife appointment or with a birth plan, with her not, being involved in that.
Do you talk to her still though?
I don't think I don't talk to her, but I definitely connect with her. So sometimes it could be maybe me kind of like davening to her or davening with her, maybe. But yeah, like I definitely talk to my daughter a lot about Nana Diana. She knows a picture, and like she always kind of like brings it to me, and I say, "Where's Nana Diana in the picture?" And she brings it to me, which is really, really nice. And she like kisses it. I'm dreading the day that I'm going to actually have to speak to her about like where her grandma is and why she doesn't have a nana and like all of her other friends do. But I don't need to kind of think about that yet.
How old is she now?
So Dana is 2.5 and she'll be 3 in at the end of March.
Oh.
So yeah, thank God. Also, like I'm not going into it, but I have very difficult pregnancies with hyperemesis. So that in itself, with the support of not having, your mum there, is also very difficult. But I really try to instill my mum within my daughter, like just whenever I can. Or like, do you know Nana Diana used to sing this song to me? Or do you know that, I don't know, Nana Diana went with mummy to this shawl? Or, I really, really do try.
I feel like you are such a huge inspiration. Whatever is chucked your way, you handle it, you nail it.
I mean, there's been times that I haven't handled it, but then...
You come through.
I guess I came through. Yeah, I came through.
So what was those moments after birth and seeing your daughter for the first time?
It was an amazing, very emotional moment.
You're a mum.
I mean, even like getting married, like dating, like that was like a huge thing for me. So I think being a mother was like the second whammy.
Yeah.
And being being there, and just also, I think part of motherhood is really trusting yourself, which is the hardest thing, because when you don't have, you know, such close family members that you can ask questions to, like, it's just kind of like fight or flight. Like, you have to trust yourself. And I think that's really hard. And part of like my mental health conditions at the time was like, you know, OCD. And thank God I don't have that now, but I did have it. And it was like, you know, checking on the baby and being kind of beforehand, the midwife being like, oh, like, I just want you to know that, like, if you do feel any kind of like perinatal or, you know, with your mood, like, definitely, like, please, like, tell us. So I think because lots of disorders, once you have the baby, are more prevalent to people that have had mental health conditions, I think that was quite scary.
Yeah.
And when I didn't have any of that, I think I was a bit like, maybe I do, like, do I, like, am I looking too much in the crib? Like, am I covering her too much up because it's really cold outside? But again, it's all just part of like trusting yourself. But I just think the main thing is just, you know, not being able to move into my mum after I have the baby, or not being able to be like, can you come here and take Dana to the park so that I can rest and, you know, look after, like, me thinking now, like, that she's not going to be here for the second birth, I think is really hard. Yeah.
I think, you know, Mother to Mother is the organization that power this podcast.
Yeah.
And it's so important to have that support system,
Yeah.
especially after birth.
Some people might be from America or from South Africa, and their parents aren't
and they
here.
don't have it.
Or like in my case, my mum passed away.
Right.
Like, there's so many different.
Or just a mum can't.
Yeah.
A mum can't help.
Yeah.
And
or she doesn't feel that it's her place to help.
yeah,
Or,
yeah. Oh, it's complicated.
Yeah.
It's complicated. So many of our listeners may have different scenarios of why their mother couldn't be present during the pregnancy, during the birth. And we're so fortunate to have Mother to Mother here in the community to help. To help all those hundreds of women that they help. So it's really, really, you know, such a bracha, such a blessing to have all these organizations here in the community, and especially Mother to Mother, who help so many hundreds of women. So take us back. So the first few days, months.
So I think it's very, very challenging. It's very overwhelming, especially when you go from 0 to 1.
Yeah.
And I think a big thing with me is trusting myself and, you know, trying my best. Or, you know, if the health visitor came, then like asking the questions, you know, that like I needed to. And also kind of wanting to just like cocoon the baby a bit from the outside world. Just because, you know, they haven't had their jabs, or just maybe also subconsciously because of like what I've been through.
Right.
You know, things like that, like taking the baby out for the first time. And also different relationship, you know, with your husband after birth, feeling very different in your body as well.
Do you see the way you're bringing up your daughter? Then do you see yourself? Do you see your mother in yourself?
I'd like to think I do. Like, she had such an unconditional love, which I have for Dana. I try to be patient, even though we're not all saints and sometimes we lose our patience.
100%.
But I really, really do try to be patient. But I definitely
your
have a lot
mum was very patient with you.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of health anxiety because of what happened with my mum. So I think sometimes I just like need my husband to be like, it's okay. Like, he's the chiller and I'm the one that worries. So I probably worry for both of us. So that's fine. But definitely with kids, you know, and they, you know, have coughs or colds or, I don't know, rashes and, you know, all these types of things. And you've got to just take it like one step at a time. And
putting your mother's cancer journey aside, was your mother like that growing up? Was she very health conscious? And
no,
that was really just your situation that's coming through.
I think because I think
sounds
it's
like she had
out.
other things to handle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you feel when your friends are talking about their parents? You know, if they come and help them, or if they intentionally try to avoid the topic in front of you.
Or even like Yom Tovim, the Chagim.
Yeah.
So you said that, you know, your husband's from Australia. So obviously like that's very far away.
Yes, very far away.
So when, you know, even when, as Deborah was saying, like, you know, when people are talking about going for Yom Tov and
or moving into their in-laws.
Yeah, after birth and all that.
Yeah.
All those kind of comments. How do you
So lots of
that?
people do move into their parents, or for Yom Tov, you know, they go to Manchester, or they, I don't know, go on a program or something.
Or as Deborah said, even just talking about different supports,
Yes.
or different situations that they're with their parents.
I think I've always been I've always been quite vocal, like not wanting people to walk on eggshells. But I think it definitely also goes the opposite sometimes when I have some friends and obviously they don't mean it, but like, oh, my mum's so annoying. Like she did this, or like she only picks up my kids once a week from nursery, like nothing more. And it's just like, it's just so annoying. Like, why can't she just do more? And I'm thinking like I would give anything for my mum just to like be able to play with my daughter, basically. Or when people, you know, might have a disagreement with their mum, and I completely understand that everyone needs to vent, but there's like a time and a place, and like I'm not the person to vent to when those things kind of come about. And I hate confrontation, so a few times it's had to be me like texting them being like, I'm really sorry, I don't mean to make you feel bad, but it made me feel really bad when, you know, you are complaining about XYZ just because of my personal situation. And I'm always here for you as a friend, but just like regarding that subject, like I just can't be the one that you vent to.
Is that very difficult for you to hear? Because I mean, I hear the whole time, like people are always saying that they wish their parents were doing more of this. It's like a very common thing. Do you hear that? Like people are saying like, oh, why didn't mummy do this? And
why can't they have me for the whole part? Why only half?
Exactly.
For some reason, we sometimes always we don't recognize the positives.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we're always looking at, oh, why can't
and
you
also,
do this?
you know, the famous saying that you never know what you've lost until you've lost it. Like I am thankful every day that I am so appreciative because of how much I've lost, and whatever I have now, I'm very, very forever grateful for. Whereas some people, like, the more they have, the more they want, and they can't focus on, because they haven't lost anything significant, they can't focus on all the good that they have.
Yeah, it's like also seeing the cup half full.
Yeah, definitely.
And half empty. It's like which side, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So how is that for you, having those conflicting emotions at the same time? You know, you've got that gorgeous love and joy of having a beautiful child, and, you know, as you said, you have this strong unconditional love, but at the same time your mother's loss is so prevalent in your life whilst you're raising your gorgeous girl.
Yeah.
How is that for you?
So I think it's always going to be hard, and it is. Even seeing a grandparent push a pram across the road, or just knowing all the milestones that my mum isn't going to be here for my daughter, for my children. And grief also just never has an ending. It's not, I know, like an analogy is that grief is a big hole, and the hole is always there, but it just gets smaller. But even when the hole is at its smallest, like there's always going to be like an indent of something. Yeah. And I think that's very comforting for someone maybe that has lost someone that they love, because you don't, like, you want there to be an indication that something has changed and that person isn't here anymore. Like, you don't want to wish it away, because the grief is really all the love you have for that person, but you just can't have it, and it could be diverted into anger or sadness or self-loathing or so many different things.
But it really comes from a place of love.
Yeah.
How ironic.
And I think to me it's very comforting knowing that there's always going to be that indent, because it's a mark, and it's a mark of my mum that she was there and that she'll always be with me. But I think it's very scary to think that a grief journey could end, because then that means that, like, the memory and everything of the person has ended, which, like, I would never want to happen.
Do you ever have that where you feel she's there, she's in your presence, she's seeing, or because
I'd like to think I do, but I think it's more of me bringing her into my life than actually feeling like, oh, my mum's here. Because I know people say they feel like the shekhinah and they feel like a very strong presence.
But as you say, you see her and your daughter.
Yeah, so like, so I guess that's also part of it. But like, I don't know if it's because I consciously want to keep her in my life that I'm kind of mimicking that.
You're looking
for myself.
For her.
Yeah, I'm looking for her. Yeah, exactly.
So what would you say to somebody going through something similar to what you've been through? They're going through it right now. You know, they're having a baby, or they've had a few children. They've lost a mother. It's incredibly tough. Can you speak to that person now who is going through a similar situation as yours?
So I'd say, number one, that family comes in all different shapes and sizes, and really leaning on the family that you do have is the most important thing, and communication, especially between you and your husband, and allowing yourself to lean on people as well. And just knowing that as long as you try, like you can't be doing anything else, and that you are making your parent proud by just going through the motions of every day, because it is really, really tough sometimes, especially, you know, when you don't have the support, when your baby's crying and when your baby's teething, and you don't want to have to call the GP. You just want to be able to call mum and be like, Mum, what did you do when I was teething? Or can you come round and help? Because I really can't settle the baby. It's a very emotional time, but just, I guess, lean on all the resources as much as possible. And something that I find really hard is like believing in myself and trusting myself. But I think sometimes you're forced to when you have less people to either to be your cheerleaders or less people to guide you, basically. So hopefully the more you do it, the easier it will get.
We feel so honoured to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you for reaching out.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think that many mothers, and I hope people get to the end of this episode and hear this, because I think it's so true and so real. Many people have mothers alive. They don't have a relationship with their mother. They don't talk to their mother, or it's complicated. And obviously their mother is alive. It's a very different situation. But I'm sure that a lot of what you said, I hope a lot of what you said was validating and would help them and ultimately bring awareness to people around us, what to say, what not to say.
Because we don't want people to have to think before they speak, or we, as in the, if you want to call it a grieving community or someone that's lost their parent, and you don't want them to, you know, walk on eggshells, and you want to be able to give and take and to be there for your friend, you know, when they're also having a bad day. But I just think like sensitivity is key, and for us also to be grateful for what we have, but also just to take into account like everyone's situations and maybe think before speaking sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. I also felt that is really, really important to mention is that sometimes when someone loses someone and they are like much older and like they had a very fruitful, fulfilling life, like, you know, if it's someone's like grandparent and, you know, they were like 90 and people say, oh, I completely understand what you mean. Like, I can completely understand how you're feeling, you know, like with losing your mum. Like I lost my grandparent and it was so difficult, and he was 90, and like that, I think, is definitely very triggering, and it's a very different type of loss than losing someone, you know, turning 60 in a few years and had their whole life, not their whole life ahead of them, but had a good 20, 30 years, please God, in front of them, and didn't get to, you know, see their grandchildren and their child get married and just live life, really. I think that's also really painful.
Right. Wow. And if anyone wanted to reach out to you, would you be comfortable?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
A variety of different topics that we discussed. And if anyone wanted to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Then, okay. So listeners, if you need to reach out, then please feel free to be in touch. podcast@mtom.org.uk. And if you have a story, please reach out.
Like Shiri did.
Yeah, like Shiri did. We wouldn't have got this whopper if not for her reaching out. Shiri, thank you.
Thank you.
And can I just say, your daughter is so lucky to have you as a mum.
Thank you for listening to this episode on Spotlight. If you were affected by any of the challenges we have discussed, then please visit www.mtom.org.uk/podcast for guidance on where to find help.
Do you also have a story to share? Be in touch if you'd also like to be a lifeline for others by sharing and empowering women across the world. Podcasts@mtom.org.uk.